Welcome back to Zelda Week. At this point in time, there is still absolutely no mention of any form of Nintendo Direct for this month. It is still the second week of January, although we are getting close to the general end of that, so we will see what plays out. At this point in time, the only thing that we've gotten recently on NSO is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, which is really good. I've been wanting to play that game, so I'm really looking forward to sitting down with that at some point, but I've got a lot of other videos to work on and games to play. Currently working on Mass Effect, but that's beside the point. As far as Zelda goes, right now I've been thinking a lot about the potential of what's going to happen with Zelda this year. It is an anniversary year, the 40th, I believe. But here's the thing though, like I said in I think like 2 of my previous videos now, the weird thing about the 40th anniversary is that it's kind of hard to imagine what we could possibly be getting this year unless they mysteriously hired like another major company to back up like Monolith or something in the last like maybe 3 years or so to work on a Zelda title, which I don't think that they would put one out that fast, right? Because here's the thing, right? We only got Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, it's 2026 now, so by May it'll have been 3 years, but it's only been like basically like 2.5 since the last major 3D Zelda. As far as 2D Zelda goes, our last major one was Echoes of Wisdom, and we got that at the end of 2024 or something like that. And then we just recently got our major like canon spin-off title from Koei Tecmo with Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. So it's kind of hard to imagine we're in a situation in which we could receive anything major for Zelda's 40th. We still could. I'd be glad to be proven wrong, but I have a hard time imagining how they're going to pull this off without a major release this year. 40 is a big number, man. 40 is a massive, massive, massive number. So it's just like, what could we possibly be receiving this year that we didn't already get within the last 3 years? We got our major spin-off, we got our 2D Zelda, and we got our 3D Zelda. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, at the very least, they might have another like secret game or spin-off or something ready for us by the end of this year. It could be another 2D Zelda for all we know. I mean, it's so hard to tell. It's impossible to tell. But for the most part, I think one of the safest bets that they could make is by giving us a couple of ports, right? Now, I do want to talk about some other ports that I would like to see from the DS era, the 3DS era, and stuff like that. But obviously, the most important one that we're going to talk about right now is Twilight Princess. Because I have found, me and plenty of others were placing bets throughout the entirety of the Switch era. That 2 games were pretty much guaranteed, and that would have been Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, right? Because those games came out on a failing, dying, or dead already, pretty much dead on arrival console with the Wii U, right? And that's the thing, not a lot of people got the chance to really play those like high quality HD remasters of those games because nobody was picking up a Wii U like that. So we just kind of figured, hey, the Switch is a much better running console, or much better selling console. It wasn't as strong as the Wii U, but it was definitely, more convenient. People wanted it more, and it just had that perfect convenience factor with NSO and everything, in which it would have made perfect sense for a game like Wind Waker HD to be available on Switch 1, as well as Twilight Princess HD, right? So we figured throughout that entire run, those games were an absolute shoo-in. We figured it might have even been within like the first 2 years. So here's the problem. Not only did we not get either of those games throughout the entirety of the Switch's life cycle, neither of those ports, we finally, what we did get was the original Wind Waker on NSO. It's not the HD version, it's just the plain OG. Okay. I would imagine, I'd like to imagine that the Switch as a console has more than enough power to run whatever the GameCube had going on. Why did we wait until Switch 2 to get that port, right? And why is it locked behind NSO? 2, is that just it for Wind Waker HD? because I'd hate to imagine that is a perfectly fine, well-crafted remaster with, you know, it's a little bright, sure, but I mean, I don't know, I've always liked the coloring, but maybe I'm a little biased because I grew up with that version, or that's the version I played, rather. I mean, nothing against the original, but, you know, it's a solid remaster. People put some hard work and time into that, and it's not their fault, it's not the developer's fault that that game ended up on the Wii U of all things, and just didn't sell like the hotcakes it should have, so why is that not ported over? And now, with the release of Wind Waker OG on NSO, it's kind of hard to imagine that there's any real purpose to putting HD on there. Because, I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know what the consensus is on the HD version. I'm totally cool with the HD version. I had a good time with it. I played it I played it like twice. Right, I had a good time with that. So I really like Wind Waker. It's one of my favorite Zelda games, right? So, you know, it's cool that it's back on, you know, NSO. At least it's available somewhere. You know, it's not lost to dust. It just sucks that that version, the HD version, didn't get ported over. Don't see why not. So now, I have to wonder, we're likely to get ports this year, so there's a very good chance that we're going to be getting Twilight Princess. What are we just gonna get? I mean, there's a couple of ways they could go about this, right? As far as ports go, I don't know if or when they're ever gonna introduce like Wii stuff, right? I mean, they did port over Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 recently, so that's cool and dandy. But what are we gonna get? Are we really just gonna get Twilight Princess on NSO? Or are we gonna get like not remastered per se, but the like kind of remixed Wii version? Or are we gonna get HD? Right? Because I feel like of the Zelda releases on Wii U, I feel like Twilight Princess HD was pretty important. Right? That was a major release with all the amiibos that they gave us and just all of the little nicks and knacks that they allowed for us in game and stuff like that. I'll be honest, I didn't play that version because I had beaten the original Wii version not too long before that, so I didn't bother. But now I'm clamoring for it. I've been clamoring for it for years, and I don't see nothing of it. So that sucks. But that's the thing. It's just like, are we going to be in another situation in which, we're going to get one version of the game, and then the other two are going to be completely lost to time? Because that's really super upsetting to me. Right? I don't really want that to happen, and I think the HD version of Twilight Princess is probably one of the better ways that anybody could get into it, especially with the optimized controls that would work for like Joy-Cons or a Pro Controller or whatever. It's some of the best ways that, you know, you can have access to the game. It's the best optimized version of it, I imagine, because personally, I like the Wii version enough, I guess, but if I had to choose between playing the Wii version with the nunchucks and stuff and, you know, the GameCube version or the HD version, obviously I'm going to go with the HD version. I have options. I have different ways to play. But we have yet to see it. What's up, y'all? Because what do you mean? What do you mean that Skyward Sword got an entire full remaster? Easily, before Breath of the Wild, Skyward Sword was easily one of the most controversial games in Zelda, right? I mean, granted, everybody, you know, most people did love it, you know what I'm saying? But there was a lot more conversations than usual in regards to Skyward Sword and, you know, how they operated with its story and its gameplay mechanics and its, you know, its world and stuff like that. But they made sure to get that HD version out. And yet I don't see hide nor hair of the HD version of Twilight Princess. Super weird. Now, like I said, it's not like I'm giving up hope that it's ever going to come or anything like that. With the 40th anniversary this year, I have to believe that one of the major holdovers that we're going to get is a Twilight Princess port. I just don't know which one we're going to get, and I feel like it would be a little bit of a disservice to only... I mean, it's such a weird situation, right? Because I think overall it's good that at the very least we have some way to play Wind Waker, right? Good and dandy. Wind Waker is a very important game in the Zelda series. Very, just super classic, super important, good thing that we have it on NSO. That's fine. I don't like that we completely just lose out on the HD version of it. I don't like that a complete remaster you know, a way that gave people, you know, just much more options, just gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did we do that for? Right? And it's hard for me to imagine that they're also going to release that version this year, because now that the original is out, people would feel like that's a waste of money, because I know for a fact, unfortunately, Nintendo's in their big greedy era. We're not going to sit here and beat around the bush about it. If they were to release the HD version, the HD port of Wind Waker, that sucker would be $70, $60, who knows? It would probably be full price. And that's amazing. That's like a massive problem, because here's the thing. There is no reason for a good chunk of people to go out and spend another $60 on this game that they've already bought 2, 3, 4 times before in their entire lifetime, when they can just get the NSO version, not for free necessarily, because we're still paying $20 a year for it, technically speaking, but you know, if we ever want to come back and play it, we just get it from there. There's no reason to drop a full 60 on it. You know what I'm saying? Granted, some people might feel differently, but not enough people, right? So it's a weird imbalance there. And I feel like they would know that it would be kind of fruitless to release that version now, right? Granted, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I'd be glad to see it released at all. But it can't be $60. But unfortunately, it will be, because Nintendo and just the AAA gaming space right now, or the gaming space in general, is just horrific in terms of pricing right now. So I would not be shocked, right? So in terms of Twilight Princess, on one hand, okay, at the very least, if we get Twilight Princess, the original version on NSO, then that's one thing. Fine, cool, dandy, I guess I can live with that. But on the opposing side, are we just going to lose out on Twilight Princess HD? And if they do port over Twilight Princess HD, we're going to have another situation in which we're paying full price for an almost, 15, 20-year-old game? Who knows? You know, I don't even remember what year it came out. But regardless, it's problematic. It's a little problematic. And I don't like the implications here. Because, you know, again, we're going to see it one way or another. And we're either going to get it on NSO and we're going to completely lose out on the HD version, or we're going to get HD versions of both games. They're probably not going to sell that well. I mean, Wind Waker won't. I don't know about Twilight Princess HD. And they're going to be sold for full price. And it's like, guys, y'all got to throw us a bone here, because y'all's image is already in the gutter right now. After the release of the Switch 2, everything leading up to the Switch 2 was so bad. You know what I'm saying? The pricing of the Switch 2 in of itself, and the tariff situation definitely didn't help going forward with that. So that was already just not really a good look in any capacity. And then Mario Kart, and then, you know, Donkey Kong and stuff like that, all these AAA titles of theirs following in the footsteps of other game companies and stuff like that, and even them trying to push the bar with the price tagging of, like, you know, AAA titles, Mario Kart being $80. It's just not a good look right now. And so for them to go out of their way to potentially port something like Twilight Princess HD or even Wind Waker, and both of those would end up being like $60, $70 just because. Oh boy. And it's like, what are the implications after that? You know what I mean? Because they see, you know, they would probably see something like that people would just probably not go out of their way to spend that kind of money and just wait for another way to get it, and then they just stop making real ports and stuff for us, right? Because there's so many other games that I really think need to be ported or available on NSO, and it is a genuine crime that they're not, right? We'll save that for another video, but for right now, it's just concerning about what's going to happen with Twilight Princess and, you know, or Twilight Princess HD or whatever, because I can't imagine that they're going to ignore this entire year, this major anniversary year, and we don't get anything, right? So I don't know. If there's one good way to hold us over, it's with a port, or like an important Zelda game ported over that we've been looking forward to for a long time now. People have been having their eyes on Wind Waker and Twilight Princess for years. We at least finally have a way to play Wind Waker. Fine. Twilight Princess is the next one that we have our eyes on, because it's, you know, just the one that makes the most sense to be next. But how are we gonna get it? Scary situation. So I guess we'll have to play it by ear and see what happens, but who knows? Maybe that's just me. So that just about does it for this one. Really nervous about Twilight Princess. I hope they don't get too greedy, because I know for a fact they're not going to give us that sucker for $40. Maybe they will do that dual pack situation, but if they do that dual pack with Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD, oh my god, I just thought about that. It could be, oh no, I really hope they don't do that, because they'll make an excuse to make it so that you get both of those games. I mean, granted, I guess that's a better deal than just each of them being $70 full or even $60, but even then it's like, oh god. So I really don't know what to think about that. That idea really scares me. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully they don't get too insane, but with the state of things, it's not looking great, but I'll leave that for that. So I'm passing the mic over in your direction, and I want you guys to tell me everything that you're thinking in the comment section below. Do you agree that we could be looking at a very problematic situation when it comes to Twilight Princess HD? We could be looking at a situation in which we potentially get it available to us on NSO, but in turn we completely lose out and miss out on Twilight Princess HD, rendering our amiibos and stuff completely useless if we have any, which I do. Or am I being dramatic? It doesn't really matter how we get it as long as we get it, and it's totally fine, and we're probably going to get it at some point this year. Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I am always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, it does appear to be skedaddle o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and do just that. I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm gonzo. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!